That's snazzy.
Snazzy.
Snazzy. That's some snazzy drum playing there.
Hey,
Oh, yeah?
you're on.
Right. Hey.
Hey. That's where we get our intro, folks.
Yeah.
Thank you to Mr. Rowan for that.
And I like it like that. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Mike likes the piano parts.
He does. Yep. Okay.
Fingers Louie.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday night offering of astronomy outreach for August the 7th, the Sunday Night Astronomy Show. Yay!
It's like playing a piano.
Yeah.
Turn my phone down here. There we go. Okay. My name is Chris Kerwin. I'm the creator of the social media channels known as Astronomy by the Bay, and I'm an amateur astronomer from St. John area.
Yay!
Hey! Okay.
We got to get a little sign to flip up, like applause.
First of all, I'd like to welcome back our regular co-host, Mr. Paul Owen, fellow RAS member from the Moon Shadow Observatory in beautiful Hampton, New Brunswick. Welcome, Paul.
Hello.
Hey. And I'd like to welcome our other regular co-host, Mr. Mike Powell, fellow RAS member from the PFO Observatory here in St. John, NB. Mike, good evening.
Oh.
Oh, PFO.
Oh. Yeah. Right up there with Dauphine's.
And we got a lesson in that, didn't we, Mike?
And
We did.
good evening to Carol Crowley here. Good evening, she says, from New York City. 88 degrees. Yike.
Wow. That's Fahrenheit. That's
We've got
awesome.
we've got some thunder showers, I think, going to be happening here. Some showers anyway, starting to clear the sky a little bit.
We've
Hopefully
got
that
some
Before we
clears the
come
sky.
on, I noticed a video that Maggie posted, and it's just pouring down there.
Oh,
Wherever.
yeah.
Yeah. She's doing a rain dance, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send it our way for sure. Okay. So on tonight's episode of the Sunday Night Astronomy Show, our moon, our constant celestial neighbor, the one that gives us a stable tilt, our magnificent tides, and an incredible amount of beauty. Now, without the moon, yay! Without the moon, our planet would be a very different place. Whether you're a beginner or seasoned astronomer, or you just enjoy a moonlit evening, it never fails to fascinate someone at the eyepiece of the telescope, for sure. Tonight we'll discuss some interesting facts and features about our moon. Perhaps some things you can share at your next gathering, family and friends maybe, or perhaps just to think about the next time you're enjoying the moon's beauty. 42 degrees in Fredericton right now, Brad says. Yike.
Wow.
Yeah, we're wondering we're even here doing this tonight. Well, at least we got shirts on, so.
I'm cool. I'm cool in my basement.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's not much cool here. Also tonight, there is a nice number of special events coming up this particular week. So I'll give you a quick update on what the events are and the best ones to enjoy. Also tonight, Mike is bringing us back another Bino Bud with a timely binocular target of the week. Paul will be delivering another interesting episode of Rosanna's Fun Facts. And he has some information possibly to share about our upcoming public star party events. We have 2 remaining for the year, so I'll talk a little bit about those, and I'll have all of your wonderful photo submissions, of course, too, to share. So remember, folks, this is there's Paul from the UK. Hey, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
This is a family-friendly interactive live broadcast, so for those of you joining us from my YouTube channel or Facebook page, we are happy to try and answer all of your astronomy questions here in real time as well. And of course, we'd like to welcome all those who have been joining us regularly through the local Rogers TV network. Thank you for your support. Thank you, Rogers, for your support. So let's get started then, guys, with tonight's program and a look at some interesting facts and features maybe about our celestial neighbor, our moon.
When you said Paul from the UK, I thought you meant Upper Kennebec-Cases, which is Hampton.
Might be. He could be fooling us.
Or is it LA up in Lower Appahock?
Yeah.
That's possible too. All these, slang names. Okay, where do we want to start, guys?
With you.
Oh, of course. Okay, give me a second
He has
then.
followers.
I'm not quite, I wasn't going to be ready to be first, but give me a second. I'll try to get some notes open. So I just kind of put together a few little facts about our moon and a few little photos to accompany them. So let's see what I can find here. Okay, I'm going to try to share my screen here. Just a couple of little things. Go with this one. And we'll click this one up first of all. So let's get them down to the right screen. All right, let me get this out of the way. Okay, so some weird moon facts. Well, weird or facts and features. So the moon is about 400 times closer to us than the sun. Now it also means that it's about 400 times smaller in size. Now therefore, they both appear to be about the same size in our sky, which makes it perfect for solar eclipses. And of course, we get a solar eclipse coming up in 2024 on April the 8th. So we do see the moon and sun as they appear almost the same size in our sky, and that gives us the opportunity. When the moon is at the right distance away, the moon takes an elliptical path around us. So the moon has to not only be the right distance away from us, but it also has to be in parallel with us and the sun to cause a solar eclipse. But we're going to get our chance, yay, on April the 8th, 2024. So that's just a little bit about the moon. As far as size goes, now our moon isn't the largest in the solar system. That honor goes to Ganymede, which is Jupiter's largest of 79 moons. Actually, if Ganymede was orbiting the sun, we'd be calling it a planet. That's how big it is. But it is the largest moon in relation to the planet that it orbits. Now, with a diameter of about 3,454 kilometers, the moon is a little bit more than 1/4 or 1/4 of the size of Earth. Now, who owns the moon? Well, there's a good question. This is something that seems to pop up lately. The short answer is that no one owns the moon. That's because of a piece of international law. Now, it's called the Outer Space Treaty of 1967, which was put forward by the United Nations, that says that space belongs to no one country. Countries like the Soviet Union and the US made sure of that at the height of the space race in 1967 when they signed the Outer Space Treaty, a document declaring that the moon would be, quote, a global commons, unquote, and any resources discovered there would be used for the good of the world overall. Now, in keeping with the spirit of the agreement, NASA actually shared soil samples taken from the moon with Soviet scientists upon Apollo 11's mission's return. So no one owns the moon. You can't buy land on the moon. You can't buy land on Mars. Can you, Mike?
Can.
No, you can't.
It's can.
No,
I got a
you
piece.
can't. No, you can't. No, you
I
don't.
paid big bucks.
Nope, you cannot. Okay. Another interesting fact, Apollo 17 astronaut Harrison Jack Schmitt, who was the first actually geologist on the moon, and that was Apollo 17, so that was in 1972, and that was the last two men to walk on the surface of the moon, Eugene Cernan and Harrison Schmitt. Now, he discovered the hard way that some people are actually allergic to moon matter. Following a survey of a valley in the Sea of Serenity, he climbed back into the crew's lunar module and tracked in a lot of moon dust with him. Now, the dust affected him as soon as he removed his spacesuit, triggering his red eyes and sneezing fits and other symptoms that lasted over 2 hours. So, kind of a rough thing. Okay, another thing. Humans tend to leave junk wherever we go. The moon is no exception. Now, it is estimated that we have left nearly 640,000 kilograms of stuff on the moon over the course of dozens of human and uncrewed missions. Some of the stuff we've left behind, well, hate to say it, but 96 bags of urine and feces, 12 pairs of space boots, 2 golf balls left by Apollo 15's Alan Shepard. He famously said that we'll be playing golf on the moon someday, so here's where he shot a couple of divot. There's a shot 1 divot, and there's a shot 2 divot. There's ball 1 and ball 2. How far away they went? I don't think they went really that far. It's hard to tell from the scope of this picture. But they did travel a little ways.
You
Didn't
can
look
only
like he was
swing
aiming at
one-handed
anything.
too, though.
That's true. What's that, Paul?
Says it doesn't look like he was aiming at anything.
No,
No.
no. And something else that was left behind was something called a falcon feather and a hammer. And I'm going to explain that one just a little bit here. I'm going to try to get to the video, first of all. A little short little video here to show. This one. And this is from David Scott from Apollo 16's mission. And let's hope it opens up. And it opened up in the wrong spot. Just a second.
Well, in my left hand, I have a...
Let's try this again. I'm going to bring it down to the right screen. You guys might not be able to hear this, unfortunately. Video to go to full screen. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about Galileo had famously dropped a couple of items from the Leaning Tower of Pisa, I believe, to discover whether or not they would hit the ground at the same time. So we had a test here by David Scott from Apollo 16, trying to offer to do the same thing. So here's his talk.
Well, in my left hand, I have a feather. In my right hand, a hammer. And I guess one of the reasons we got here today was because of a gentleman named Galileo a long time ago who made a rather significant discovery about falling objects in gravity fields. And we thought that where would be a better place to confirm his findings than on the moon. And so we thought we'd try it here for you. The feather happens to be appropriately a falcon feather for our falcon. And I'll drop the two of them here, and hopefully they'll hit the ground at the same time. How about that?
There you go.
Which proves that Mr. Galileo was correct in his
Photo
findings.
finish.
So they both fell at the same time.
They both hit the ground at the same time.
Well, that's because the feather was made of metal and the hammer was made of balsa wood.
So that was an experiment that could only be tested on the moon, and it could only happen really on the moon because the feather would have picked up some wind resistance, of course, on its way down. But it did prove that both falling objects fall at the same rate. Doesn't matter how heavy they are. That was the whole point. But falling objects in the vacuum actually fall at a steady rate as well. So that could only really be done on the moon, or unless you're inside a chamber that was a vacuum chamber, I guess. But you'd also have to have the lunar module in there with you and all of the moon inside that chamber. So had to be done on the moon. That's how we went to the moon. Okay, well, I'm going to share one other quick video, just a little bit of a view of the Apollo landing sites, just Apollo 12, 14, and 17, actually. If I can just take a second here.
Boop, 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 boop.
So these are actually images that were taken by the LRO spacecraft. That's a spacecraft that's been orbiting the moon now since 2009, and it flew over the several sites of the Apollo landing sites. It has imaged all 6 now. This is Apollo 17. There's the experiment sitting on the soil, and there they are from space or from above the moon, about 60 kilometers up. Of course, the moon has no atmosphere. So if you're 100 kilometers up or 60 kilometers up, it really doesn't matter. You're still going to get the same view. So
Here's an interesting fact, and the stars would not twinkle on the moon.
Right. There's no atmosphere to cause them to twinkle.
That's right. They wouldn't.
Unless your eyes were watering.
Which they shouldn't do inside well, they might do inside a spacesuit.
If you're allergic to
It depends what you have to do.
So you can go to LRO Apollo on NASA. Just go to NASA, type NASA LRO or Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter Apollo, and it'll bring you up all 6 landing sites. And you can see exactly where they parked the cars, when took the rovers to, and everything is, of course, is exactly the way it was when they left the moon. Now, even their footprints are still there. And how long will their footprints last? Well, there's no weather on the moon, but there is weathering on the moon. Terrence and I talked about that a little earlier. So there's some erosion happening. So that would be the result of, say, solar radiation or from impacts, micrometeorites that are impacting the moon on a regular basis. Over 100 tons of micrometeorite dust hit the moon's surface every single day. And that's why there's so much powder on the moon, they believe, because it's like rocks that are being pulverized, right, over long periods of time. So, but their footprints would take probably millions of years to fill in their footprints with micrometeorites. So they're going to be there for a long time. So imagine putting your foot in, in sand out on a beach somewhere, and it's staying there for a billion years. It's pretty fascinating, that part of it.
How they know we were here.
Now they know we're here. So again, you can go to LRO. There's a whole pile of videos. Actually, if you go to YouTube and type NASA LRO, you'll find a whole series of videos about how the moon was formed, the craters, and impacts on the moon, a lot of the features on the moon, even the most recent impacts on the moon. They've actually found some very fresh impact craters on the moon, and they pinpointed the spots because somebody was actually, imagine this, had their telescope pointed at the moon and they saw a bright flash. So they sent that video into NASA, and they did some research on it. They decided to try to put the LRO over that path. Now, the LRO goes over a very distinct path around the moon and keeps mapping the moon continuously as it goes around small strips. So they had to wait until it was in the position that they could actually have it pass over that spot. And when they did actually find the impact crater and this long piece of ejecta extending out from it, very fresh. So there are still impacts happening on the moon. A lot of these craters that we see are billions of years old, but there are fresh ones happening. So it's kind of neat. That's my little bit of talk about facts and features, I guess. Who's next?
All right. I'm going to share my screen. That's not share. This is share. This one. Well, I went a little bit different. Did a little looking around in the internet, and of course the internet doesn't necessarily give you true facts, but most of my information came direct from NASA. So I wanted to throw out some facts about the moon that you may not have known. Starting with number one, the first fact: the coldest measured surface in our solar system is actually on the moon. Some places on the moon are colder than the surface of Pluto. The maximum temperature on the moon is or a minimum temperature on the moon is minus 387 degrees Fahrenheit. That's cold. And the maximum temperature can get up to 253 degrees Fahrenheit. That's bloody warm. But that's a pretty cool fact that it's the coldest spot in the solar system that we know of. Number two, the moon had more visitors than you may possibly think or probably think. More than 100 robotic spacecraft have been launched to explore the moon from more than half a dozen countries. 9 crewed missions, or 24 humans, have flown to the moon and back, and so far only 12 humans have stepped foot on the moon. It's the only place in our solar system visited by humans other than the Earth. And like Chris said, the last time it happened was in 1972 with the Apollo missions. Fact number 3, the moon is actually shaped like a lemon. Bet you didn't know that one. The moon always looks perfectly round in the night sky, but it's actually more of an oval shape. It is believed that the gravitational forces from the Earth have helped to exaggerate the moon's oblong appearance over eons, so it's actually more shaped like a lemon than a ball. Fact number 4, the shadows on the moon are darker than they are on the Earth. Now, how can a shadow on the moon be darker? When on the Earth, light is scattered and reflected through air molecules, which is why the sky looks blue and allows objects not in direct sunlight to still be well lit, according to University Today. This effect is called the Rayleigh scattering and doesn't happen on the moon due to the fact that there's no air up there. That's why shadows are darker on the moon's surface, and spots that are hit with sunlight are even brighter or more well lit. This one Chris already went over. The one astronaut was actually allergic to moon dust. Apollo 17 astronaut Harrison Jack Smith discovered the hard way that some people are allergic to moon matter. As he said, following the survey on the Sea and Serenity, climbed back into the crew lunar module and tracked a lot of moon dust with him. The dust affected him as soon as he removed his spacesuit, triggering the red eyes, sneezing fits, and so on, and the symptoms lasted for more than 2 hours. That's pretty cool that you're allergic to moon dust. Fact number 6, it would take 100,000 of the moons to equal the brightness of the sun. the full moon shines at a magnitude of minus 12.7, but the sun is a 14 magnitudes brighter at minus 26.7. The ratio of brightness of sun versus the moon amounts to a difference between 398,110 to 1. So that's how many full moons it would take to equal the brightness of the sun. Now, you wouldn't think that. You'd think, wow, the moon's pretty bright on a full moon, but over 300,000 moons to equal the brightness of the sun. That's pretty cool. And who made the flags for the moon? Now, I kind of traced around because I saw a comment that said the flags on the moon that came from Sears. Well, that turned out to be fake news. Who made the flags on the moon? They really don't know, or they didn't know, because the tags from the manufacturer actually got peeled off while they were doing the work on the flags to get them ready for the moon. But there was one guy that was actually involved in that, and he remembered that it came from a company called Allen Flag Makers, who wove the flags out of rayon, and each one cost NASA a paltry $5.50.
Wow.
Or $33 when adjusted for inflation today.
Wow.
Good deal.
And if we landed on the moon today, you just send a text home going, "We're on the moon." And that's my little bit about the facts that I may not have known about the moon.
Awesome, Mike. Thanks. I didn't mean to mention that one about the Harrison Schmidt part.
Oh, no worries.
Well, now they heard it twice. We'll remember it.
Yeah.
That's right. You got to tell me more than once for sure.
Okay, Paul, what have you got to add?
All right. Well, I'm going to put something up there just a little bit different. Seems that we're talking about the moon, and we haven't really talked about moon features. So I'm not going to mention a lot about moon features, but I'm going to just talk a little bit about how to best view the moon, because everybody's out observing that when it's out, and everybody's out taking pictures of it. So there are some better ways to be able to do that, and I'm going to talk about that. So basically, how best to observe the moon. So let's talk about the moon phases first. So the moon can be painfully bright in any telescope with an aperture larger than 80 millimeters, or about 3 inches. Whenever the moon is more than half full, it really gets bright. From our vantage point during these phases, first quarter to third quarter, the sun is shining more directly overhead, and therefore more brightly on the moon's surface. So to dim the moon, we can use a variety of eyepiece filters, including neutral density filters and polarizing filters. But perhaps the most useful are the colored filters. Adding a color tint to your view of the moon may not seem like an improvement, but colored filters can actually overcome image deterioration caused by the effect of the light at our eye. And colored filters can enhance lunar details that are difficult to pick out in white light and improve the subtle differences between those details. And there are times when you're going to want to filter more than times you're going to want to filter less. So what you're seeing here with these phases, and it's kind of common sense that as the moon gets brighter, it's going to get harder on your eye. The harder it gets on your eye, then you want to filter it more. So as it gets really bright, still using the color filters to show the detail that you want to see, but then you would add polarizing filters or even neutral density filters to that on top of it. So it's actually a combination of working them together. So again, depending on what phase it is, and it's usually from first quarter moving forward to last quarter is the brightest times you're going to see the moon. Prior to that, the moon is not really all that bright. So common lunar filters. So this is actually a reference table that you can find online. And this reference table lists common filters used for lunar observations. Now, the transmission percentage is how much light passes through it. So the transmission percentage is the number that you see on this side of the chart. For example, this first filter is 83%. So that means that 83% of the light will pass through this filter when you're using it. So that would be on the phases when the moon is at its least amount of light is when you want to use a filter like that. The filter factor is a factor by which the light is reduced. So that is this factor, this number right over here. So for each factor of 2, an increase of exposure by 1 stop is required. This chart was actually made for photography years and years ago, but people I have kind of morphed it into using it for observations as well. So in any event, so that's how this chart kind of works. I'm going to get into just a few more things into it as we get further into it. So Keller filters actually alter the contrast. So when you look at this first moon over here, this is an unfiltered moon, and I forgot to look and see which filter they used on this, but you can see the difference between the two. There's amazing difference in contrast, certainly in the darker Maria areas, especially here. There's a lot more difference in detail, especially in and around the Apennine mountain ranges. You can see a lot more sharpness and detail. So again, what's happening there when you're filtering is you're actually taking that light, that kind of the distorted light between the white light and what your eye is able to perceive, and by filtering it down, it's kind of like taking a really, really bright sun against a lake or something dark, and being able to actually close that gap between that where the sun shines and the light starts. And that's what it does, is actually it really improves the contrast. So you can see a lot of things, and there are different colors for different things, like we see right here. So this is the Lunar Observing Eyepiece filters, and this is by Kodak Ratten system. Mike knows about the Ratten system, and Ratten was actually a gentleman who actually developed the coloring system for the filters. So for example, I'll just read a couple of these and you can kind of see where this chart would actually take you. So for example, number 12, yellow or deep yellow, improves hue contrast and sharpens shadow edges. It's great for observing small cone craters and Maria wrinkle edges that are lit by low solar illumination, and helps in locating domes. It's also better than lighter yellow filters like a number 8 and a number 11 at bringing out the fine details in the rays, such as the Messier A comet tail rays in the Mar, fecunditatis. I can never say that one. Anyway, so that is a number 12 yellow filter. I'll read just one more. Let's pick number 25. So number 25 is a red filter. So the red darkens the entire moon and provides little visual improvement for lunar observing. Shadows are not as sharp as with green and yellow filters. The moon's terminator fades to black without any clearly defined edge to shadows. When used in combination with a polarizer, this filter enhances artistic black and white photographs of the moon in daylight by dimming the blue sky. It is used mainly for viewing the planets. So a red filter may not be a very good filter to use for the moon, according to the Ratten system. So anyway, so you can see this goes on in there, but you could actually define which filter will give you what features on the moon by going through this chart. So again, if you're a moon observer and you're just taking shots from your camera through your telescope to the moon, and you're not using any kind of filters at all, you're missing detail. So there are some ways to get some detail here. And that is it for me. That's what I want to talk about on the moon.
It's awesome, Paul. Thank you, sir. Good information. Yeah, I mean, people don't think about putting filters on when they're observing, I guess, as much as you would, when you're trying to offer something. When I'm doing Facebook Lives a lot, I have to filter it right down to get it dim enough, but I don't really think about it too much with eyeballs. That's a good idea.
Yeah. And filters, those filters, there's a number of ways you can apply them. Of course, you can screw them to the bottom of the eyepiece. What most people do is they just drop them on the top of the eyepiece so that they're easier to exchange.
Right.
And that's the same as if you're using a variable polarizer. So if you put the variable polarizer on top, there's two ways to use it. You can put one of the pieces that you can take it and break it into two, unscrew it from each other, put one on the bottom, put the other on the eyepiece, and just turn it on the eyepiece if you want to, or you can just keep it on top and just turn it right there if you want to. So there's a number of ways you can approach these things, and you can get them in 1 1/4 inch, and of course 2-inch.
Yeah, the variable polarizer is difficult when you put it on in the slot where eyepiece filters are supposed to go on the eyepiece, because you have to remove the eyepiece, adjust it back in again, and that's
Well, no, you take the top one. Yeah, that's why you
Yeah.
separate.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
just put the top one at your eye, and then you can just turn it back and forth,
yeah.
and then you can get that polarizing effect, right?
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. Okay, we're going to go next to that's our talk, I guess, about the moon. We could talk about the moon for probably the next 10 episodes, really.
Never.
There's so much to talk about when we talk about the moon. We just touched the surface, really, but it was just
No
basically
pun intended there.
touch the surface. Yeah. Somebody will be touching the surface again, hopefully, in a couple of
Hopefully.
years' time. Yeah, we got the mission. The Artemis mission is almost ready to go, they say. So that'll be the robotic mission around the moon.
Yeah.
Lunar Gateways is in the proposal stage right now. That's the space station that's going to be orbiting the moon. In 2025, I guess, is supposed to be the first manned mission to the moon. I think it's 2025.
Wow.
Trust on that one.
Yeah. The first woman and the first person of color apparently are going to be walking on the moon
Wow.
in 2025. So yeah, lots of stuff to look forward to. Nice for the newer generation too to look forward to, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get on to our talk about Bino Bud then maybe next.
I know, but
What's Bino Bud got for us this week?
he has, and you're going to chuckle at this one because you know exactly where he is. And I think he should be coming up here.
Not M40.
No, but just as good. Binocular target of the week by Bono Bud this week is Job's Coffin.
Yeah.
You know that one.
That should ring a bell now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Job's Coffin, and I specifically left out the name of the constellation, Job's Coffin asterism, perches below the imaginary line connecting Altair with Deneb in the Summer Triangle asterism. The Summer Triangle asterism shines far more brightly than Job's Coffin's asterism and his dimmer stars. And the Summer Triangle stars shine brilliantly as a 0 in first magnitude. So, how do I find it in the sky? Well, most of us know how to find the Summer Triangle with Deneb, Vega, and Altair down here. If you drew a line between Deneb and Altair straight through between those two, come down about 1/4 and just off to the side, or excuse me, down about 3/4 and just off to the side, you'll find Job's Coffin. Or somebody want to help me here?
Delphinus.
Delphinus.
Delphinius.
And that would be this time you're looking at about 11 o'clock at night, and you orient yourself 170 degrees south-southeast. All right. This is what you're looking for, this shape in the sky. It's shaped like a dolphin, somebody thought, and that's why it has the name. But Job's Coffin are the 4 stars that make up the box on the top. What will you see? Well, you won't quite see this, but they are beautiful blue stars, just like if you're looking at Pleiades, right? They're lighting right up against the background, and it's a beautiful sight to look at, but you're looking for this area right in here. That's Job's Coffin. In 10 by 50 binos, it's going to take up pretty much your whole binocular field will be the constellation, but the 4 stars here easily stand out. It's a big, bright cluster to look at. Compared to the full moon, well, if you look at the 4 stars together, let's say 4 full moons in diameter from one side to the other, so real easy to spot. It's a naked eye. You can see it, no problem at all.
Yep.
And if you do go to look at it with a scope, guess what? You got a heavy bucket and a light bucket. That's our target of the week by Bino Bud.
Oh, that's terrific.
Thanks, Mike. Great target for this time of year, for sure.
Yeah.
They're all
Finny.
timely. Yeah, very much. Delphinius.
It's as it gets dark, it's this time of year, it's just under being overhead. If you
Yeah.
can find the Northern Cross or the Cygnus, the Swan, and if you look for that, the
What's
long
it?
neck of Cygnus,
What was it?
it'll always be on the east side of that.
Yep.
And it's almost like it's following it.
Yeah, it just stands out there by itself, right?
Yeah, they're so close together, so easy
Well,
to see. When we were up
everything-
at Carlton, we spent a fair bit of time getting everybody to find it. 'Cause
Oh, right on.
like you said, Mike, it's a real easy naked eye target.
Yeah,
Well, the showstopper is Cygnus now, really, though. But
that's true.
It's around that place,
yeah,
whatever it is.
whatever it is.
Not quite as photographed as much.
True.
No, you know what? But it should be, because I bet you it would photograph very nicely.
It would be.
Oh, I
yeah,
think it will.
Yeah.
We'll make that a project.
There.
Yeah,
Like it.
absolutely.
Okay. For Fundy. Okay. How about a Rosanna fun fact? Oh, well, maybe I'll do a what's up first, then a Rosanna, and then the photos. How's that?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. That way it breaks my two talks up together.
Okay. So I'll slip the Star Party thing after.
Or what do you do? Okay. After the photos?
Well, whenever,
Or do you want
whenever.
to do that now? Do it now.
Let's go for a smoke break and figure it out.
Well, it's not that big a deal. I don't even need to show it. It was just basically
Go ahead.
uh,
Go ahead. We got time.
the big one that's coming up now is on the Labor Day weekend, and it's on the Labor Day weekend every year at the Fundy National Park. And Fundy is a national park, not only a provincial park, but it's a national park.
Mm.
So the Fundy National Park is what they call it, and it's right on the Bay of Fundy, just before Elma. So if you're going there to for the weekend, you're just an over the hills drive to a beautiful little town. Kind of reminds you a little bit of St. Andrews, I guess. Hey? And where it's right on the bay, and there's a lot of fisher stuff going on. There's novelty stuff, and there's restaurants and all that. So it's a great little spot where it's handy too. So Fundy's been one of our staples in Star Parties for years and years and years, and it's certainly our most attended Star Party. There was one year I think we had, I think Chris, if you remember right, over 1,000 people
Yeah.
through the scopes. That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
2017.
2017.
2017.
Mm.
And and that's when we were up at South Shignuktu. Well, now we've moved the site because they've turned South Shignuktu into a motorbike, or what do they call those bikes?
Mountain bike?
Mountain bike path. Yeah.
Yeah, like a mountain bike trail. They turned it into that. So they moved us down to Herring Cove, which turns out to actually be a better site. And it's very, very dark. It's next to the ocean. If you're down in the daytime and you want to do some solar observing, once you're done that, you can go walk down to the beach if you like. So it's actually quite a nice new spot for us.
You can walk down, but I tell you, it's one heck of a walk back.
It's a one.
It is.
Yeah, you gotta have your legs. You gotta have your legs. Because
Yeah.
it's quite a set of stairs
Mm.
that go right up the cliff side
Way up.
to get to it. But it's a beautiful spot. It really is, and the skies are great there. The views are absolutely wonderful there. So that's coming up, and that's again the biggest one that we do. And then of course we have one other one left after that, and that's on the 15th of September, I believe, back at Kushabaquack, which is our fall Star Party. We've already done two. So we've done the spring Kushabaquack, and we've just got finished doing the Mount Carlton, and now we've got these other two major ones to do. So for those out there who have never been to a Star Party, if you want to do some camping before the summer's out, come on out. If you can make it to Fundy, you will not be disappointed. We have more telescopes at that site than any other one, and we have a larger field, and we just have an absolute ball there. So anyway, so that's my little spiel on Star Parties.
So I had a few questions. Like people have emailed or asked me, messaged me about the Irving Nature Park one that we were having here in town, and they said, "Do I have to bring along a telescope?" Well, no. At any of these events, you don't bring along equipment. We supply the equipment. We don't supply it for you, but we supply it for you to take a look through. So it's all of us with our gear set up, and it's all for free. Like everything's for free. All you have to do is register at the campsite, pay for your campsite, and then find out where we're going to be.
Do it now because a lot of these things are booked up far in advance.
They sell out. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They sell out. So Labor
every
Day
year.
weekend before all the kids go back to school. So, but keep in mind, even if you're not registered in the park, you can still attend the Star Party.
Right.
You can come in as somebody coming through the park, enjoy the party, and then move on.
That's right. Yeah, you don't have to stay overnight. So.
Yeah.
But if you can possibly do it, we get 2 nights. So we arrive on a Friday. We start Friday evening, then we're Saturday solar observing, and we'll bring along a telescope if you need some help with it. We have a telescope clinic as well. We offer solar observing, some hints on astrophotography from Paul. Then that evening we do a second observing evening, and then we're gone Sunday. So we don't stay till Monday. It's a 2-day thing, but for us it's maybe 2 hours of sleep the whole weekend. So by Sunday afternoon we're pretty tired.
Yeah.
So we just stay for the 2 nights. But anyway, there's
you guys are posting in your tent and you're
Right.
snoring away. We're outside and we're enjoying the sky because we stay up until we see
Orion.
Orion.
Yeah.
And we roll.
the Pleiades and Orion, and then
Little
bedtime.
tear comes to the corner of your eye saying summer's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was you, Chris, that actually caught the horse head in your little scope and camera before you went to bed or something.
I did. Yeah, I've got that
Yeah.
image here somewhere, but yeah, it was in little horse head in the small scope. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great little scope. That
Yeah,
little scope
it was
is done
fun
really
in
well.
National Park where we discovered that new feature on the moon called the cat.
And it was
Yeah.
also also at Fundy National Park when we decided to take. I wonder if we can offer live views of stuff
Yeah.
because it was down there in 2017, I think.
Well,
Nope.
but we don't have power down at that site.
Well,
No,
that's
not
true.
down, but it was at Chignecto when we first tested. Hey,
Yeah,
can
we did it
offer
there,
this? We can offer it live. So I had the dumbbell nebula in my little
Right.
scope, and I was on Facebook, and
Yeah.
we were live streaming, and we were stacking.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, look at this is cool. I wonder if we could do this really on the show. So, or we could start a show. You suggested the idea of the show, and it's been 141 episodes now. We've had 2 clear nights.
Wow.
So that idea went out the window.
Yeah.
2 clear nights out of 141 episodes now.
Yeah.
So good thing we picked up something else.
Yeah. All right. Well, then I'll just
yeah.
do the Rosanna now,
Okay.
and then you can do the.
Sure.
Let me just get it ready here. Just take me a second.
Bridget says there were some spots at Point Wolf last month for tents. Bridget Green said so.
Okay.
Are people able to stay on beach past midnight? I believe so, Bridget. If you're talking about visiting us, we don't go to bed till the morning, so you can stay with us as long as you like.
The only thing is about being down at the beach, you got to remember there's tides, right? They come
That's
and
right.
go.
Yeah. So safety is a big part. So.
I know if I go down to that beach at night, I'm staying the night down there because that take me a full day to get back up again.
You need to get yourself a pulleys, Mike.
Well, you guys wouldn't carry me last time, so
No,
I had
that's
no
right.
hope.
We wouldn't.
All right. Well, let me see if I can get this to work. Okay.
We'll sit you on a
here we
crazy
go.
carpet and pull you up.
I got a battery-operated stair climber or something.
All right. So let's get into this. Maybe if I can turn the sound up. Just give me 1 sec here. There we go. Try that.
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Hey, welcome back, Rosanna, with another great fun fact this week. I had a ball reading this one. This one was good, so I think you're all going to enjoy this one, as you do all of hers. But this one's kind of fun. So, seeing is believing, and so it is said sometimes, or at least for me, what I see and wish my camera to see are 2 different things, leaving me at times disappointed, but also sometimes surprised and delighted. The same goes for when I'm painting or sketching. At times when I have pictured in my head isn't what translates on the canvas. Now, the New York Times had published a really short quiz 2 weeks ago on the James Webb Telescope. The single multiple choice question was, which of the following can the James Webb Space Telescope not observe? Or put another way, what can it not see? So the list was 1, planets within our solar system. 2, planets around the stars. 3, microwave remnants of the Big Bang. 4, some of the first galaxies to light up the universe. And 5, shock waves of exploded stars. While everyone is thinking about the answer, here is a spectacular view of the James Webb Space Telescope. The description below contains a clue to the answer, and I'll read you the description. It says, infrared light, which is essentially heat, was used to penetrate through dust and clouds and peer into regions of space that are obscured to optical telescopes such as Hubble. Thus, the James Webb Space Telescope provided this new view of the Cartwheel Galaxy. The galaxy is 500 million light years away from us in the constellation Sculptor, a constellation not in the northern skies. So, back to the quiz. So, for all the planetary marbles, the answer is number 3, which is microwave remnants of the Big Bang. Interesting, hey?
Yeah.
So this is a cosmological observation that Webb telescope cannot make because microwaves have much longer wavelengths than the infrared light that Webb picks up. The Big Bang remnants have been studied in detail by other space observatories, including NASA's Cosmic Background Explorer and the European Space Agency's Planck missions. Now here's an example from the Planck telescope, and you can see it there. The single all-sky image captured by the Planck telescope simultaneously captured 2 snapshots that straddled virtually the entire 13.7 billion year history of the universe. That's what you're looking at. That is absolutely amazing. Now, a couple of pics released in the past week of Jupiter. So, the one on the left is an image taken using a narrower wavelength filter, 2.12 micron filter, and on the right, using a 3.23 micron filter. The image credit goes, of course, NASA, ESA, CSA, and B. Haller and J. Stansbury. A lot of magic can happen with filters and processing, as our resident expert, Paul, knows. Well, thanks, Rosanna. Here's a really cool photo NASA recently shared, a color-enhanced image of the surface of Mars, captured by the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, and the various shades of blue help bring out differences in brightness between wind-related features, showing which way and how hard the wind was blowing the sand in different areas. And of course, this image is from NASA. Also, the past week, a fabulous prominence on the sun, the biggest in years, was captured by Jean-Pierre Brahe in France. That was his capture. NASA recently shared, and by Alan Friedman on August the 3rd from New York. That was his capture.
It's huge.
It's amazing.
Wow.
From Australia by John Good.
Or you just
His
enjoy
capture.
moonlit evening. It never.
Yeah, look at the size of it.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Wow.
And also by our own Robert Godet.
Yes.
And that was his capture.
Nice shot, Robert. Well done.
Well done, indeed. So I would be greatly remiss if I did not include sketches as well. As sketches came along long before the photography did, they still are an amazing way to document and share the mesmerizing effect of looking skyward, whether it's observing, listening to music, or even a beautiful math equation that creates the awe-inspiring moment of revelation. The same emotions are released through this familiar experience. Humanity can bond and share common purposes. Sketches by our very own Kurt Nason. And with everyone, may everyone have some time to enjoy the summer sun. And of course, those are the sketches that Kurt did over the course of 3 days leading up to that very, very large prominence. So that was basically what this week's Rosanna's fun fact was.
Dun, 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 dun.
Whoops.
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Hey!
Hey,
That's awesome.
that was an absolutely great fun fact.
Another great
As
one. Thank you, Rosanna, as always.
Yeah, always keeping up on current things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And but yeah, those that $13 billion or 13 billion year old photograph.
Yeah.
It just blows my mind.
It's unreal. Yeah.
Yeah. Out of all of it, and of course everybody's image of the sun. And by the way, Robert's picture was captured using a little PSD solar scope, which is our club scope. And so do not think that you have to buy a 70 millimeter solar scope to get good images. And that was
Exactly.
just, there you go.
Thank you very much. Rosanna, and we're still looking at, we're up on Facebook, guys, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. My end of it is gone, but I'm still seeing the feed coming back. So I
that's
can't make comments. That's all. So if people are commenting, maybe Mike, you can take a look at the comments there for me.
Yep. Somebody laughed about having a smoke break.
Well, yeah, they can. Okay, let's go to let's do a what's up this week, I guess next.
Oh, what's up this week?
What's up this week? What's up? What's
Pat.
up?
What's that?
No, can't be doing that. Can't be talking like that. Might be copywriting.
Mhm.
Okay, let's see what we got.
There's the beef.
Okay, what's up in the sky this week? This one, I think. Me. Okay. Okay, what's up in the sky this week? Hey, I can't wait to get back to that spot. St. Martin's.
St.
I
Martin's, yeah.
remember that night.
Town and country, yeah, or what am I trying to say? The campground in St. Martin's, huh?
Yeah,
I think I took that picture.
Yeah, you did.
that was just ahead of the picnic tables that were kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
They're all
right.
stacked
Yep.
up in the corner there, yeah.
Yep. Beautiful spot.
Yep.
Okay, let's start with tomorrow then. Tomorrow, August 8th, double shadow transit on Jupiter. This is something that's not very, or that doesn't happen very often, but it's always nice to get an opportunity to see it. We get to witness a rare double shadow transit on Jupiter tomorrow. Shadow transit is when one or more of the moons of Jupiter transits across its face, leaving its shadow on the surface. In this case, both Io and Ganymede will transit Jupiter and leave their shadow. The transit will have already begun when Jupiter rises. Ganymede's shadow will disappear from the planet's surface first at 11:57, followed by Io's shadow at 12:54 on August the 9th. So that's overnight. But pretty neat to see. I mean, you can see it through a telescope. It's easily visible. Two little black dots coming across the face of the planet, and understanding that what you're watching is the shadows of two moons that are coming across. So 2 out of 79. Also, of course, if we're going to see the shadows, we're going to get to see the moons too. Not always, but we do this time. This also means that Ganymede and Io will transit the face of Jupiter. Now, they would both be transiting the surface together for a brief time, starting at about 1:40 a.m. on August the 9th. So we get Io over here and Ganymede there for a brief time together on passing across the surface of Jupiter. Now, next up, our moon on Wednesday is at perigee. What does that mean? Well, the moon takes an elliptical path around us, so therefore there are times when it's at its nearest and its farthest from us, not from us. Our moon is at its closest approach this week on Wednesday, one day before our full moon, and this was a result in higher than normal tides normally. So perigean moon, and the term supermoon came quite a bit later, actually. So the full sturgeon moon arrives on Thursday at 10:36 p.m. Now it'll rise almost full. Term supermoon is described as a full moon that is about 90% of the closest distance to Earth, or perigee, as I mentioned before, when it turns full. Now, astronomers normally use the term perigean moon to describe it, but the term supermoon tends to draw more interest, and it does. The moon can appear slightly larger, especially near the horizon. So watch for that. Hopefully we'll have a nice clear sky, catch that nice big moonrise coming up. Always nice to watch. Along with the moon, though, we'll have Saturn rising along with it. So we'll find the moon rising with the ring beauty Saturn. The pair will appear about 4.5 degrees apart. So that means that they'll fit together in a pair of 10 by 50 binoculars. So get out your binos and take a look and see if you can catch Saturn and the moon together in binoculars as they rise on August 11th. Moving up to the 12th, the Perseid meteor shower. This year, well, we've got a bright moon because the 11th is the full moon and the 12th is just the day after, of course. So the Perseid meteor shower appears to radiate from the constellation of Perseus in the northeastern part of the sky. These meteors can be seen anywhere in the sky, but if you follow an imaginary line, they'll usually trace right back to Perseus. This is Perseus here. There's the W of Cassiopeia. So if you're wondering where Perseus is, it's just below the W of Cassiopeia in the northeastern part of the sky. Now, on any year without a bright moon, the expected number of meteors is about 90 per hour. Unfortunately, this year we will have a bright gibbous moon accompanying us, so only the brightest of the meteors will be seen, but the Perseids are known for fireballs too, so there's the opportunity to see some really nice bright ones. Even so, warm weather conditions can encourage you to get outside and look up, and although the peak arrives on August the 12th, the show actually has already started back on July the 14th, and it runs right through till September the 1st. So we'll have some dark skies between now and September 1st for sure. So you can still have an opportunity to get out and catch some of them. After that, we've got on, I guess this would be Sunday. The ring beauty Saturn will be at its biggest and brightest on the evening of August the 14th. That's when Saturn will be at opposition. Oop. What is opposition? Well, it's when our sun, the Earth, and an outer planet are all lined up together in space. Now, the inner planets cannot line up like this. At opposition, as the sun sets, Saturn rises, and as the sun rises, Saturn sets. So it's up in our evening sky all night long, and we are at our closest approach to it all year. So it should be at its biggest, its brightest. Of course, right now, and we're not that far away from the 14th, so it's up pretty well all night now. But at that time, it'll be when the sun sets, you'll start to see it breaking the opposite horizon. So it'll be due south at midnight. So that's the best time really to catch it, when it's highest in its part of the sky as well. Especially with planets, because where planets are reflected sunlight, and stars, of course, generate their own light. So sunlight has to go all the way out to Saturn, bounce off of Saturn, and come back through our atmosphere, and gets affected by our atmosphere, of course. So sometimes it can look like you're looking at looking through a bathtub at Saturn, especially through a telescope. So our best image is coming up, I should say. And that's just for Saturn. Jupiter's coming up in opposition a bit later. Speaking of Jupiter, here we are on the 14th and 15th, the Moon and Jupiter together. So on the evening of August the 14th and overnight, watch for the waning gibbous moon now. So it's waning, getting smaller, as it greets the giant planet Jupiter. As the pair rise in the east-southeast, they will be approximately 5 degrees apart. As the evening progresses into morning, Jupiter will appear much closer at only 2 degrees apart, and in both cases, both of these celestial objects will fit together in the field of view of most binoculars, like 10 by 50s. So lots of binocular viewing available for you. 2 objects in the same field of view of binoculars is always a nice treat. And I always like to go back to Lisa's Lookup, Astronomy and More. Lisa, of course, has a Facebook page that we follow quite regularly. She can also be found on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Ruby Moonbeams. And Lisa puts out this great chart every month. This is the event that's happening. Here's the dates of the event. These are the peak times for that event, and then what you need to see it. Naked eye, binoculars, or telescope. She lists all that as well. So follow Lisa at Ruby Moonbeams on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And of course, we have our local club, the St. John Astronomy Club. It's sjastronomy.ca, where you'll find tons of information about astronomy and our outreach events, that type of thing. And RASC-NB as well, which is the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada, the Brunswick chapter. And every month we put out this chart. Kurt Nason. So August and September. Who's got their phone up? August and September 2022. So he's even listed Sunday Night Astronomy Show down here. Yay! On Sunday nights for us.
Yeah.
But there's lots of events. What's that?
We just get back from Fun Day.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so weather will be, I think we're down here for Sunday. We're not down for, we are down here for Sunday night. Yeah, we'll see. That might not happen that night. Because it takes a lot of prep time.
Must go on.
Yeah, well, it takes a lot of prep time to get the show ready. So that might not be occurring on Labor Day weekend Sunday night, but we'll look ahead and see what's happening. So anyway, that's my.
I think that was us 3 years ago at Fun Day.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, and that's our what's up this week. Okay, I might just continue sharing because I got some photos now to share, right? So give me a sec, I'll get those going. And go back to sharing again. Entire screen, let's go here. Okay, let's see what we got for photos this week. Got a lot of nice photos coming up here. Let's start with this one from Matthew Dupre.
Oh, nice.
So Matthew says, I had some pretty good seeing this week. I managed to get Saturn and Jupiter with the one with the great red spot is Io, and the one without the great red spot is Io. That's Io right there. And the one with the great red spot is Europa. So there's Europa and there's a great red spot.
Yes, sir.
Nicely done, huh?
Nice shots.
And here's his image of Saturn.
Oh, beautiful.
Very nice. You know, when you consider the conditions of the sky now and how low it is, that's a really good image.
That's good. Yeah. He said each image I took a video of 5,000 frames and used 35% of the best frames to stack and create the images. I used my Celestron 9 1/4, a 3x Barlow, an ASI 224 camera with an IR filter, and ZWO atmospheric dispersion corrector to capture the data.
Right
data.
on.
So great
Really
stuff.
nice. It's a really, really good image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done. And you can even see the octagonal shape here on the top.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, he's captured it well.
There's a lot of detail in there.
Well done, Matthew. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
We got this one from Claire Reed Newman. Claire says, hello, Astronomy by the Bay. Thought I would share this photo with you of 2 meteors from the Perseid meteor shower. I was watching them. I was watching them last night, Thursday, August 4th, and that was, of course, Thursday, and they were spectacular. There would be at least 3 all at the same time, and many left long trails that remained lit up for a few seconds afterwards. So she says, thank you from Claire Reed from Aberdeen, Scotland. There you go.
Yes,
Very
sir.
nice. Yeah.
So great stuff, Claire. Thank you for sharing those. Good to see people getting the Perseids for sure.
Yeah.
Got these from Duckman Arsenault. Duckman says, here's Wednesday's daytime moon.
Daytime moons. I love it.
Yeah, they're hard to
Yeah.
get. Hard to get a good shot of. Friday sunset, he says.
Oh, beautiful
Oh,
shot.
look at the bird. Yeah, that's cool.
And
Nice
these are from the north end of St. John, he says. And here's his moon from the north end as well last night.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well done.
Well done. Thanks, Duckman. Now, Brad Perry sent these ones in. He says, good morning, Chris. I have 2 photos to share this week. One is of the moon on August the 3rd. I took 12 quick snaps in a row from my deck using a 600 millimeter lens and stacked them in Lynkeos, or Lynkeos. Lynkeos.
Yeah.
The second photo, a great shot there. The second photo is my attempt at catching some meteors before the moon gets too full.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
look at that, eh? So
An attempt? That's a darn good attempt.
that's a good attempt.
Yeah,
There's
there's
Andromeda
Andromeda.
right there. Yeah.
Yeah, look at the double cluster.
Double
Wow,
cluster,
he's got blood in there.
Get a lot of stuff in there.
Awesome shot.
But the meteor, look at all the meteors you got.
Yeah,
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly.
Wow.
He says, the second photo is my attempt at catching some meteors before the moon gets too full. This was early this morning, August the 7th. I set my camera up outside at 1 a.m. and then climbed back into bed and let it shoot until the battery died.
Oh, right
There
on.
you go. Good boy.
Yeah.
Good.
He said, I caught 5 meteors between 1:20 and 2:20 a.m. I believe the 3 towards the left are Perseids, and the 2 on the right may be either Aquarids or Capricornids based on their angle. Yeah.
Yeah, look at
It's hard
that.
to say. Yeah, but these ones are all going that way, so
Very
That's
nice.
nice.
they're all heading
Yeah.
towards Perseus. Yeah. Well done.
Yeah.
Also just wanted to say it was too bad about weather on Friday night. My band played in St. John that evening, and I was hoping to make it over to do viewing at the nature park, but of course that didn't turn out so well. So we'll see you again back there, Brad, hopefully, next go around. Thank you for those. These are coming from Lisa. Lisa says that tonight's waxing gibbous, that was last night's 69% illuminated moon.
Yes, sir.
A nice
Good
detail.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah.
So very nice detail revealed, she said, especially in the southern region. That's from an iPhone 13.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The iPhone on eyepiece, is that how she did it?
iPhone and eyepiece. Celestron Nexstar Evolution 8 with a 32 millimeter eyepiece and an iPhone. So
Nice job.
you
Isn't
can't
that crazy?
can't complain about that.
Look at the detail. Beautiful.
And she had this one on our site there too. She says arc to Arcturus and spike down to Spica. There we go.
Oh,
There you go.
With the moon in the middle.
Kind of like the game Pong between Arcturus and Spica.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Yeah, your arc to Arcturus from the Big Dipper, and then you spike down to Spica. And
Yep.
then this is hers, plus a close up of the moon at 36% illuminated, she said.
Very nice.
And this was,
Well, that's to see.
yeah, an iPhone as well. And Robert Gadet
Robert shot, yeah.
grabbed a couple of these ones. Moon on August the 5th, 2022, a Celestron at 6 SE, and ZWO ASI 224MC planetary camera with a ZWO UV-IR cutoff filter. Sharp cap, IMP, PG, and Photoshop. Not bad for setting up, getting aligned, hooking up everything, taking 4 different videos of 30 seconds each, tearing down, then processing the data. It was still daylight out when I captured the data. I had to work fast. Clouds were rolling in very quickly. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Well, you got a good shot out of it.
I say.
There's that Mark Charisma down the bottom corner, right?
I think so.
Right there.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
No, up there. Up a
Oh,
little bit.
here.
There
Yeah,
you
right
go.
there. That's Mary Christian. Yeah.
That's the bear head. I
That's
know
it.
you don't see it.
Oh, there it is. Look, 2 eyeballs there. Is that what you mean?
Yes, 2 eyeballs
There's the 2
and a
eyes. There's
nose.
the nose.
Mouth.
Look at. I see
Yeah,
it now.
yeah, that's a
Look
bear
at
head.
there. It is a bear
How did
head.
you not see that? Good God.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, it was tough to see the rabbit there too. So.
I definitely got to go to the cannabis store more.
Once you see it once, Mike, you won't. You can't.
Oh yeah. I see him. I see him now. He is a bear looking right at you.
He's looking. He's looking right at that crater.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. It's not the root bear.
Right
No,
at
okay. Yeah.
Okay.
You can't see the wild duck cluster either.
Yeah. This is another shot by Robert.
Hey, a straight wall. Nice.
Straight wall in there, yes.
Pretty well, yeah. And as Chris calls it, the snowman.
The snowman,
Yeah.
yep. Yeah, the drunken snowman. Yeah, that's him backwards. Yeah. See, he's
Yeah.
got a little,
Again.
little nose here. That's his nose there. Yeah. And his belly button.
Not going to the cannabis store enough. I definitely not going enough.
Yeah. Especially when you get out underneath the stars and you say how far stars are away, right? You know,
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah, like wow.
Whoa.
Wow. Woo.
Oh, God, velvet.
Yeah. Diamond and black velvet. This one's from Bob Bartlett, Friday Night's Moon. Great shot, Bob.
Nice shot.
Yeah,
Nice shot.
nice color.
Look at the Apennines.
Love
man.
the
They just-
Apennines, eh? Aren't they so nice? Yeah.
That's one of my favorite parts of the moon. I gotta
Me,
say.
me too. Yeah.
Oh, it's
And they're
incredible out
Eratosthenes. Eratosthenes there at the end. He's the guy that measured the circumference of the Earth way back in BC. This one came from Gary Cole.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I had a foggy sky, he sent me this one from the clear sky.
Right
And,
on.
It's a day moon, was it?
yeah, it was that was yesterday's moon. Yeah, last night's moon or yesterday evening's moon. Mark Hickok sent this one in. Hey, Mark.
There you go. Nice.
Michael Powers sent this one. Some fog
Nice.
there as well.
Fog on the way.
Yeah. And Mehdi Abbasi sent this one in.
Very
Good
nice.
shot.
Very well done. And Marianne Mitten.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Well
It's
done.
funny when you change the setting on your camera, your white balance, how you can get different backgrounds.
Mm,
Yeah.
So, so if you set the to a cooler temperature setting, you get this.
mm,
A couple of moons ago, we got more yellow,
right.
and a lot of that is basically handled with the white balance on your camera. So if you
Yeah.
if you want to go to a warmer look or a cooler look, you can actually do that just with the white balance on your camera.
Yeah. That's amazing. Nicely done.
Yeah, very nice.
Okay, let's go over to Kathy Adams. Kathy got this one. She said, my Jupiter image with Europa was chosen as the top story for Earth Sky's newsletter this week. Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Hey,
congratulations.
Fantastic.
So she says, thanks, Lisa, for suggesting Earth Sky to me. Earth Sky is a fabulous website for both Earth and Sky news, and it is. I follow it regularly. But I've never get into the photo section, but I'm going to be doing that now. She got an awful nice shot there of Jupiter, yeah.
Yeah, she did. She got some good. The red spot came out beautifully.
And that's a 5-inch scope.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 Very well done.
No, yeah, I did a good job on that.
I'm going to throw this one in from Mr. Owen.
Oh,
There you go.
Hey, shot with red,
That's
green,
Starfield.
blue, broadband.
well, the whole point behind this wasn't so much the object in the middle, which is the Dumbbell Nebula, but it was the amount of stars that were all around it.
Yeah, the
And,
Starfield.
so if you kind of back out a bit, the reason I shot that was just to show you how many stars that are in and around that object. Now that object sits in Vulpecula, which is just underneath Cygnus, but it's all in that path of the Milky Way, and that's where it
yeah.
sits.
Right.
So when you're looking at some of those objects, we look so hard for the object, but there are so many stars around it. So I shot that wide field so that on your computer, when you look at it, you can zoom in on it and just kind of just start traveling through the star systems. And there's just so many stars.
And the
It's
colors, it's the colors that amaze me, right? There's so many
Yeah.
colors in there.
Yeah, well, you've got the blue stars and the gold.
Groupings and, groupings of stars and chains of
Yeah.
stars.
Yeah, it's just amazing. And so I'm just starting to find more interest in the wide field because there's so many cool things up there that you can see, right?
Yeah.
Yay, there he is. Yeah. You got him, Mike. You got him.
Yeah, well, not so much on the targets because I've shot the targets; they're interesting, but it's the star fields that I find
Yes.
really, because if you can do a good job on your stars, everything else will look good, right?
Everything falls
Right.
into place. Yeah.
So anyway,
That shot though, beautiful shot.
Like I
Thanks.
mentioned on my post today, there, you might see 2,000 to 3,000 stars in the daytime or in the evening sky, in an average city with average light pollution. So, but to think about each one of those stars that you do see, there's actually about 20 million stars that you don't see.
well, you know where
For
your
every star you do
cursor's
see.
sitting, where your cursor was just at,
Right there.
in
Yeah.
that area. If you take just a small little smidgen of that, even smaller than that, I counted almost 100 stars in a little tiny area that big. So
Wow.
I can't even imagine trying to count all the stars
Yeah.
that are in that photograph.
That's why they have such a hard time estimating. Is it 100 billion stars? Is it 400 billion stars?
Yeah, I mean, how do you really know? Because you can
Well,
only
that's
see
why you
so
hire
many.
students in the summertime. 1, 2.
You
Good
count the
point.
blue ones and you count the gold ones.
Yeah. And we got this one from Mike.
Oh,
Mike's
nice.
Today's Sun. Yeah. Good
Oh, that's
start, Mike.
today.
Yeah. Nice
Is that
Today's
today's?
Sun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look at that surface detail, eh?
Yeah. Yes,
I don't
incredible.
think that's today's.
Well, you had it up there today. Maybe you had it up there today. Maybe I just picked it up off your site today. But anyway, it's a great sun.
Yeah, you got
This
some
is what
activity
it's going
going
around.
on.
There is some activity. There's a coronal
Yes,
hole right now.
It was picking up, and everything's down on the southern hemisphere. It
Yeah.
seems.
Right. I'm getting alerts on my phone here like crazy tonight about
Yeah,
possible,
Aurora.
possible aurora tonight if you're out in the clear sky. So I don't know what the numbers are, but I know there were KP4 earlier today, and we need about a 6 here to get some nice stuff. So maybe it's
Yeah.
picked up since then. There is a fairly large coronal hole here facing us right now, which means it's kind of the outer layers of the sun are kind of stripped back a little bit, and more of the solar wind is exiting the sun. So when that comes into our path, and if it happens to exit the sun at different speeds, it kind of builds up like a bunch of waves, and the faster waves will catch up to the smaller ones, and that's what happened a while back there when we had that really beautiful display. When we were expecting waves after wave, but they kind of smashed together as a one big wave. So that can happen, and it's very unpredictable, for sure.
Yeah.
Aurora this time of year, yes, there is. Especially with our active sun right now. So we can expect to see a whole lot more of this as our sun gets up to solar maximum for 2025, for sure.
Robert said the latest is a KP6.
KP6, it is KP6. Wow. Okay, so that's tonight.
It's raining, isn't it?
It's raining here, but
That
somewhere
sun was
it's
2
not.
days ago.
Okay, somewhere it's not. Here's so if you'd like to send your photos in, please send them into Sunday Night Astronomy Show or SNAS at astronomybythebay.ca. You can also send them into Sunday Night Astronomy Show at gmail.com. We love getting them there as well. Or just drop them in my Facebook page, and I'll pick them up there as well. So we love getting your photos, love sharing them, and thank you everybody for sharing your photos. Okay, I'm going to put up a post probably here shortly. I'm going to go back and take a look at what's happening with the KP level, and if we expect to see some tonight. I always try to put a post up about Aurora, but KP6, that's
Pretty.
that's a big one. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a good one here. That could be Nova Scotia easy too. Okay, let's get to our closing comments then maybe. I guess that's probably time, gentlemen, please, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
What's that? Oh,
Time,
yeah.
time to drink every beer.
Time for that. Okay. So in closing then tonight, folks, we'd like to thank you once again for your continued support of our efforts here. Next week's show, probably going to talk about planets. I'd like to get us talking a little bit about the planets and what's up in our sky. We just talked about Saturn being in opposition. Jupiter's up before midnight now. Mars comes up shortly after midnight. So we've got some nice planet viewing coming up. Venus is coming up in our evening sky soon. So, and we're right in the middle of summer here. So let's get out and do some planet viewing. Maybe we'll talk about where the planets are in relation to where we are. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about capturing the planets, how to view them, and maybe how to capture them with a photo or two. So we'll talk about that next week. So special thanks again, of course, to Rosanna for another interesting Rosanna's Fun Facts segment. We always love them. Also, hope that all of you who have joined us from Rogers enjoyed the program tonight. If you would like more information about the wonders of the night sky, you can contact me at astronomybythebay.ca. Also, special thanks to all of you who've share our program regularly, like Sean at the NB Storm and Weather Center. Thank you, Sean. Our friends Trudy, Brad, many more out there that are sharing our post every week. Lisa as well. Really do appreciate it. Remember, too, we do love getting your photos, so send them into SNAS at astronomybythebay.ca or Sunday Night Astronomy Show at gmail.com, and we'll be happy to include them on our next broadcast. Now, if you have ideas for topics for future shows, next week we'll talk about planets, but we'd like an idea for the next week. So send them in to us. And at the same address, and we'll try to make it happen for you. And please let your friends and family know, too, that we are here every Sunday night at 8 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook to edutain you on astronomy and the wonders of the night sky. I'm going to patent that name. So for now, then, from Mike and Paul, this is episode 141, too, folks. So episode 150, we're thinking about already. I've been thinking about it. Maybe we want some ideas to bring up on our 150th show coming up in October. So think about that.
Give us something.
Give us something to talk about. Yeah, give us some ideas for that particular show. So for now, then, from Mike and Paul and I, we wish you a safe and happy week, everybody. Lots and lots of clear skies, we hope. Maybe some aurora, maybe two. And as we like to say, open your eyes to view the skies and keep your scopes pointed up.
Yep.
Good night, everyone.